We're going to talk about how you can make your clients commit to a regular Pilates practice when you reopen your studio. Okay, so how do you get your clients to commit? You might have had those clients when this pandemic hit who just disappeared on you, right? And they said, "Oh, it's okay. I'll wait until you're open again, and I prefer the reformer." And I've seen a lot of people, Pilates teachers in Facebook groups this week, say how, they're just putting up with that. And I'm like, how can you put up with that so easily and not realize that there's a problem? So if you've had a ton of those people who just sort of disappeared and um, just quit their practice with you and chose not to go online and work virtually with you, then I love you dearly, but you have a problem, right? Because those people, what you do with them, their Pilates practice to them is not important enough. And I'm not saying you're not doing a good job. I'm just saying that they haven't made the connection between what Pilates does for them, and they don't see much benefit in that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dropped it, right? People, I know times are hard, but people do, like, certain shops and stores and businesses are making tremendous amount of money right now because people still go out and shop. Like, drive past a nursery right now, or home improvements. And I don't know where you're located in the world, but you drive past a nursery here anywhere in the Northeast now that spring is coming, and it's packed, and people dedicate their time to something, but they choose what to dedicate their time to, and they choose to dedicate time to what's important to them. And if they're not practicing with you, then obviously Pilates is not important to them. Okay, I know it's kind of sort of bad news, but I'll talk to you about how to change that. So again, if you're interested um, in learning and finding out why your people are not committing and what you can do to get more committed clients going forward, stay on this live stream for the next 30 minutes and I'll tell you how. And then while you're at it, why don't you put into the comments where you're watching from, where you're listening in from. Always good to know that. It's always fun for me, and I think fun for everybody, because we're in this together. Okay, who am I? Just if you don't know me, my name is Mara Sievers. I'm the creator of Pilates Encyclopedia and of the Pilates Career Academy. So I am helping teachers become better teachers, but also I'm helping people, Pilates teachers, have better careers, have more fulfilling and rewarding careers, financially and spiritual. So I want you to be happy teaching the way you're teaching, and I want you to have the type of clients you want to have, and I want you to be rewarded for it financially as well. I want you to make a good living from your Pilates work. I had a brick and mortar Pilates studio for 8 years in Concord, New Hampshire, in the US, that I sold last year. And now I'm just fully online. So I've been doing this online thing for quite a while. Started my online business before I sold my brick and mortar studio. So I've been doing this longer than just last year. So I'm a little bit ahead of the curve with the experience of teaching online and creating videos and reaching people on more of a broader perspective. But I also understand from a firsthand experience what it's like to have a brick and mortar studio. Hi, Sasha. Thank you. Good to have you. You are very welcome. She's saying thank you for doing this. You're very, very welcome. Okay, so one more time, going back, let me be very clear about this. Going back to the way things were before the lockdown is just not a good idea, and I'll tell you exactly why. So now you're already behind, right? Like, you haven't made any income, or you've made less income the last 2 months. So now if you go back to the studio, let's paint the picture. You're not going to be able to take as many students. So if you've had 4 students in your class previously, maybe now you can only take 2, just because of the space, and you have to keep that distance. So you're cutting your class numbers in half, and then you might need to put in a buffer of 15 minutes of time for cleaning, and because there's all these special procedures, right, where you have to, it has to be wet first and has to stay wet for a certain amount of time, and then you can dry it up, and you can't work out on wet equipment, right? So if you add in this time buffer where you for just for cleaning, you can't take a client in that moment. So you're basically dividing your income in half or even less than that. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault, but it's just pure math. It just doesn't work, right? So one quick thing right now, before we even get into the main thing, there's a little, think of this little bonus tip. If this is the situation that you're in and you have people on Zoom, if you have people working with you virtually, keep it up. Don't jump into reopening, because it's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna be, you're not gonna make as much money as you maybe did virtually. Or try and keep both going at the same time. And again, keep listening, because at the end, step 3, or tip number 3 that I have for you today, is all about how to keep a hybrid offering going forward, because I know that many of you are thinking about that as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Tip number 1, in order to get people to commit to their own practice, and that's all they're doing, right? So to commit to you, they really are committing to themselves. They're committing to their own transformation, to the progress they want to make. That's what they're committing to. You're the vehicle. You're what allows them to make it happen. You're helping them make it happen, but they're not necessarily committing to you. They're committing to themselves, right? So when you talk to them, this is what you need to bring out. You need to dig deep, and you need to find out, why are you doing Pilates? And if you've listened to any of my previous live streams, you know that people don't care about Pilates. They care about what Pilates makes them do, or they care about what Pilates, which result it got them. Okay? Pilates is just a mechanism. It's just a tool. It's not the main show. So in order for people to commit to their own practice, they need to have a strong and clear goal. So they need to know why are they there? And you know what, quite honestly, they don't know that. You might have gotten a lot of students who just wanted to try it out. You know, then there's all these discount things going out there like Groupon, and maybe they started to join with Groupon because they figured, oh, they just wanted to exercise a little bit, and okay, let's try this, and they kind of enjoyed it, and now they're sort of your clients, but that's not a good enough goal. It's not a good enough reason to really commit. So when things get hard, then those are the first ones to go. So you need to think about, or you need to, as you talk to your clients going forward, you need to know what they want from you and what they're hoping to get out of Pilates, or what they need to get out of Pilates. For some people, when you're working with a lot of people who are in pain, it's about needing to get out of pain, not just wanting stronger abs or a six-pack. Okay. So, and that goal needs to be important and urgent to them. So remember those 2 words, important and urgent. If it's just like, oh, I just want to work out, that's not a good enough goal. Okay. If you think about the fitness world, or, you know, any magazines and stuff like that, headlines in magazines, people will always search for getting out of pain, but also like getting a six-pack. Those are 2 things, and those are random, and I know that one of them might not apply, but for some of us it does apply. But those are goals that people will always search for, always need help with. They will always want those. It's either a vanity goal. It's either because they want to fulfill a desire. They want to look good. They want to attract a partner, right? They want to feel sexy, whatever. It's a vanity. It's a desire that they want to fulfill, or it's a pain that they want to avoid. So if you're working with rehab people, they just want to get out of pain. They just want to feel good. So they want to avoid discomfort and pain. Those are the 2 big groups, and then there's lots of subgroups, but those are the 2 big groups, and you have to speak to that. You have to know which group they're in, which specific goal that they're after, and then you can give that to them. So in my work with my coaching clients, that's what we try and figure out. And every teacher is different, right? I don't want to tell you right now what is specifically you need to do, because your Pilates career, who you want to work with, is very, very different from another person. So I want you to find something that really resonates with you, that makes you happy, where you get up in the morning and you say, yes, this is great. And aren't those the great people, the people who have a really strong goal? Those are the funnest to work with, because they're they're in it for the long haul. They do it no matter what you tell them. They're showing up. Okay, so tell me in the comments if you know at least one specific goal of at least one of your students. Put it into the comments for me. I'm really curious. I want to know. You can do this if you're watching this afterwards. If you're not watching live, pause the video and think about this for just a second and type it into the comments. I'm serious, because all of this information doesn't make a difference if you're not implementing it, if you're not actually doing it. You need to be doing this, okay? All right. So let's move on to tip 2. Tip number 2 for making your people commit to their practice with you is packaging. What does that mean? It means we need to change the way we charge for Pilates. I know that everybody in Pilates charges packages, a 5-pack, a 10-pack, 12-pack, I don't know, something like that, single classes, memberships. We need to get away from teaching per session and charging per hour, because as we learned in tip number 1, people don't pay for Pilates. They pay for the result they're getting. They pay for how they feel afterwards. They pay for the transformation that they go through. So you need to come up with a package that you think through. What does your ideal client need to do every day, every week to achieve the goal that they really, really want? And then you put a total price on that, not per class. Because if they pay for 3 months ahead of time, or if you break it down in 3 payments for the 3 months, but if it's a set package of this is when it starts, this is when it ends, and this is what's included, then they're committed. If this package is maybe a little bit higher priced, they're committing to themselves. Unfortunately, people only commit by putting money down. Free stuff or cheap stuff in our minds is worth less than expensive stuff. What are you going to do? That's just how humans work. Okay, and you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go extremely out of your comfort zone. You need to feel comfortable with this. But what I'm saying is just change the perception away from your individual classes to a package. Because even if you don't charge more, even if you charge exactly the same thing per hour, but if you package it and all those sessions that are included, let's say there are 12 sessions included in a 3-month package coming once a week, as an example, if all of those expire at the end of the 3 months, or if they lose them because the package is over, they will show up. And if they don't show up, that's okay, because you still got your money because you were there. You reserved the spot in your schedule for them, right? So packaging is extremely important. I highly encourage you to go away from the 1 hour at a time and then, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pause my package because I'm going away. No. The transformation doesn't stop just because they're going on vacation. And let me tell you this too, people have never been so willing to make change, to accept change as right now. Usually people are very risk averse. Just in general, humans are risk averse. Change averse, sorry. We don't want to make change. So if this is a real opportunity, because they're forced into change, they have been forced into this by nobody's fault. but now they're already used to this, so you can think about this right now, right now. Don't delay this. You need to figure this out now if you want to make a change, because making the change now will be accepted. If you decide you make the change next year, it's like you just got back into a rhythm, and they'll just say like, oh, it might come across as frustrating to them. It always is. Change always is. But again, right now, the desire and the happiness that they feel that they can get back into the studio might balance out the frustration they might feel with like, oh, now I have to get used to a new package system. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. I hope you're following me. So think about a 3-month package. Think about a 2-month package. Again, I can't tell you what that looks like because your client has a specific goal that I don't know what that is. And the goal might be different, right? If let's say I have a client, I'll give you 2 examples. Let's say you have a client who is older, and all they don't want to change. They just want to maintain the way that they're feeling right now. They just want to be able to continue to move, and so on and so forth. So, and all they're willing to commit time-wise is 1 hour a week. Okay. But they do want that. So it's a good enough reason for them, but it's not as strong. So they just want to maintain. They don't necessarily want to get better. That's a very different package and program as, let's say, an athlete or recreational athlete, but just somebody who's doing triathlons, and they want to have Pilates as a cross training method, and they know that they need core strength. That's the one thing that's missing. They're good at everything else, but they're really not good at that, and they want to beat their personal record for next season, for when they're competing again, right? They need to work completely differently than the person who's retired who just wants to maintain. So again, I can't tell you that. I can help you figure it out. So if you want help figuring out how to package your service for commitment, please let me know. Please let me know. I'm more than happy to hop on a quick strategy call with you, because this is, again, I can't stop pointing out how important it is that you do this now and not wait until 3 months, 6 months, or a year. All right. Stuff. Are you ready for tip number 3? I might have a sip of water. Give me a sec. Okay, last tip is about hybrid programs. So some of you have also noticed that a lot of you are saying, yes, I want to keep a virtual class on my schedule going forward. And I think that's a great idea. But picture what will happen. So right now, I know that studios are not reopening as quickly as we thought, and not as clearly as, there's this transition period of only a few people and stuff like that. But so you might be able to keep that hybrid or that virtual class going while you start your in-person classes already. That's fine. But what happens when your studio is completely open again, maybe by the end of the year? Those people might drop out because now they're back in studio. So if you want to create, and you have the right to do this, by the way, to create more freedom for yourself. Let's say you are currently working weekends and you want to take weekends off, which you should be able to if this is your main career, right? And you're working hard Monday through Friday. It's okay to take 2, and I think you need to take 2 days a week off. You're going to burn out otherwise. Okay. So let's say you want to go away, you want to spend the weekend somewhere in the country, but you feel like you don't mind teaching virtual class. So you could, for instance, plan on doing a Saturday morning virtual class, because it gives you the freedom to be wherever you want to be. You can head on a trip, I guess, as long as you have internet. You can teach that class. You can serve your people who are in the package in their progress, but you don't have to actually be there. So this really serves you, and it serves them. And then when your students are, let's take a different example. If one of your students are on vacation, right? So those are always the tricky clients who are off and on. if you put it into the package, you can say, I'm expecting you to work out 3 times a week with me, and if you're going away, then I expect you to do this virtually with me. So you can set the rules, right? Because people don't pay for Pilates, they don't pay for the reformer, they pay for the transition, the progress that they make, the transformation that they make. And they can do that very, very well online, especially if it's not every week. Right now it's tougher because you might have students who really need more support from equipment and stuff like that. I get that. But once we're back and they do have the in-person studio, in-person sessions, it's totally fine to add a mat work, or it doesn't have to be mat if it's an older person. It can be a standing workout. It can be, I have one client and she's doing a standing workout because that's just what she needs. She can't go down to the floor, but that's what she actually needs. So don't shy away of being creative, and ask for, you have to ask for that commitment. Maybe that should be the bonus tip, is in order to get committed clients, you have to ask for that commitment. They're not going to commit just because they want to. They're not going to throw money at you. But if you ask for commitment from them, and if you're willing to do your part, then they will respond. If you know what they want, and you can give them what they want. I hope that makes sense. I think that's a good stopping point here. So give me one more time a thumbs up if that makes sense. And again, if you need help figuring this out, let me know. I'll hop on a quick call with you and we'll strategize a little bit. Okay? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to sign off here. This is Mara Sievers for another Facebook Live. By the way, I'm doing these every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm sure we can figure this out. And I hope to see you for the next one, next Monday. If you need help and support figuring this out during the week, let me know. I'm here for you. Okay, ciao, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to see more cool information, head over to PilatesEncyclopedia.com. I'll see you next time.